The meeting is now live. If the chair would mind, please reading the meeting introduction now. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Just 1 second while I'm just bringing up a document.
Through the chair, I don't know if it's helpful. Unless I'm missing something, I don't see names on the agenda either, but for Appeal 15, the owner's name there is John Gibson. And for Strasbourg, I believe the representative we had the last time was Vince Capertorto.
Yes, thank you, Gloria. That's correct. And did he? Yes, that's. I believe you're right on the name. And I do have this stuff here now, which, yeah, just because of the way it's mortgaged. Okay, I'm good to go. Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. This is the Property Standards Committee hearing procedure for December 15th, 2021. My name is Mike Pulley and I'll be chairing. Joining us today is Brian Santos, Mohammed Assad, and Charlene Molman. This meeting of the Property Standards Committee is being called to consider appeals of orders to comply issued by the City of Kitchener's enforcement staff pursuant to Chapter 665 of the City of Kitchener Municipal Code, the Building Code Act, and the Statutory Powers Procedure Act. Through the hearing process, the committee this hearing is a formal process where those giving evidence will be required to make an affirmation to the validity of their testimony. However, the committee tries to conduct the hearing in a relaxed fashion. Additionally, the board has 4 things that we can do. We can confirm or uphold the order as it currently stands, rescind the order, modify the order, or grant an extension of time to comply with the order. So that being said, I guess we'll address appeal number 2021-13 for 581 Strasburger Road, with Officer Mike Manning being one of the witnesses. And Gloria McNeil, if you'd like to start off from your side.
Certainly. Through the chair, I'm just looking to see if we've got reps from for the property in attendance at the meeting.
I see that there's a VC on here. I'm wondering if that's if that's Vince.
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. Through the chair, I'm just wondering if we could maybe start with just getting an update as to where we were at, because I know there was some applications before the board and we were asked for a deferral. So I know Officer Manning had suggested that it sounds like most of these tenants have moved out. So it may be helpful just to get an update from the owner just to see where we're at.
Sure. So all the tenants are in fact out as of the 3rd of December. The final tenant left, and soon as they left, we commenced with demolition and removing all the affected materials from the water damage. That's sort of starting now, and we're well on our way.
So sorry to interrupt that. I would like to affirm you
Sorry.
before you begin your testimony.
Okay.
Mr. Vince Capertorto, could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide the committee is true and correct?
I do.
Thank you. You can go ahead now.
Oh, sorry. So as of December 3rd, with the building vacant, we have started the remediation of the water damage from the roof leaks. So the guys are, taking out all the wet and damaged materials. I believe the third floor is completely finished, and we've actually started the rehab process on that. Second floor is well on its way. The demo is, they think there's only one unit left to demo, which was one of the tenants that just left. And the bottom floor, same, the last two tenants left on the third, and we've just started to clean out those units. But in the meantime, we've done some of the other, cosmetic-y things, like we've done some of the asphalting that we could, weather permitting, and just give the site a nice little cleanup. So, yeah, so we're well on our way.
That's great. Thank you, Mr. Capratoro. Mr. McNeil, is there anything you want to add additionally at this point for the committee to consider? Or I will ask Mr. Capratoro what he feels his timelines are to become compliant with the order as it stands currently written.
So I think, just correct me if I'm wrong. So the order is to remedy and remove all of the materials, which probably be done by the end of January. And then to have the units back in, like to put all the finishes back, because that's essentially all we're doing is just the finishes, will probably be until the beginning of May.
I guess for you, sir, I would have one more question. Just remind me again, are the people that left, the tenants that left, are they returning upon completion, or like, is there anybody that's sort of been,
I
left without a
believe
place to live?
I believe only one, maybe two people have expressed interest in coming back. Everybody else has moved on.
So they've moved out entirely. They've made alternate arrangements.
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah. So so essentially, and to use the words of the landlord tenant board, we've paid them out of their existing leases and the obligations under that act. There was a 3-month, the way the forms work, there's a 3-month, I don't want to use the word penalty, but a 3-month payment for them to relocate, and they've chosen that. There's, I believe, and Michael might be able to give a little bit better, but I believe there's 2 people that have expressed an interest in possibly coming back. And one of them is just waiting to hear on a place, which I think is happening this month or early next month. So it might actually only be one person coming back.
And then again, that would be pursuant to everything done, they look, they like, and agreeable to you in terms then.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, thank you. Any, Charlene or Brian or Asad Mohammed, is there anything you need for clarification?
No, I guess I'll jump in there. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this meeting was deferred just in order to hear back from the landlord tenant board that the tenants would be out. They are now out. Work we completed beginning of May, correct?
That is our hope. We are dealing with some material stuff, and as long as everybody keeps their promises and things come in when they're supposed to, then that's our time frame.
Excellent. And like no one's living in these units now because they're vacant. So
That's
an extension of time to end of May would be suitable.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. I'm not saying, I'm just asking if that'd be.
Oh, yes, that would be perfect.
Okay.
Mohammed, go ahead. I'm sorry, we can't hear what you're saying. There's some kind of reverb going on.
So Mohammed, just a quick reminder. Yeah. Oh, I think you came through there.
Mohammed, do you want to try again? Mohammed, can you raise your hand if you can hear me? Okay, so there just seems to be some crossover when you're talking, so we can't hear what you're saying.
I think he might have left the meeting.
I was just going to say, I think he's gone now.
Through the chair, if I could just interject, would it be possible to have the officer, Maureen Manning, sworn in? I just want to maybe hear from her and just see if she's got any concerns or anything she'd like to add just prior to the committee making a decision on their request before them.
Yes, absolutely. And Maureen, I apologize. I think I called you Mike earlier in the meeting, so my apologies. Yes, please, if you want to add your thoughts and comments, we'd appreciate that.
Hi, Officer Manning. Would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the information you're about to provide the committee is true and correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Okay. So basically all I'm looking for is, last I was in contact with Michael, who is the property manager. He told me there was 3 tenants moving back in, and that was on the 26th of November. Unit 107, 203, and 204 had all given written notice that they request to move back in. So I would like those 3 units made a priority because these tenants are displaced until their units are ready.
Okay, thank you, Maureen. Mr. Caportoro, comments on response to that?
I thought it was 2, but if it's 3, that's fine. It isn't going to really change the timeline. We're doing the best we can to get it rehabbed as soon as possible. It's only been from the 3rd that they've left, so we're working as diligently as possible.
And do you feel it's reasonable that you would be able to get those 3 units done, that they're habitable by the end of May?
That's the plan, yes.
And or sooner if possible, that they be prioritized.
Sure.
So that once they're available, people could move back in.
Sure.
Okay. I see we have Mohammed back.
Yes,
There, we can hear you. Do you want to go ahead and with your questions?
yes. The tenant who are coming back, will they be paying the same rent or it will be a new lease for them?
I'm assuming that it would be the same lease, the same amount.
Okay. Okay, that's fine.
Thank you, Mr. Said. Charlene, did you have any points that you wanted to cover off?
I just wanted to make sure that the building is going to be in a safe position between now and May.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean.
Is it blocked off? Is there any
What?
way for people to get access to the building?
No, there's a full lock system on the building still.
Okay,
And there's workers there all day as well.
yep.
So to be clear, there's currently nobody living in the building, is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
And do you have to get a sign off by any city inspectors or whatever before it can be considered livable again? I'm not, just because I don't know how that works.
No, I don't believe so. I think after the units, the guys are more than welcome to come in and have a peek. They'll be quite nice when they're done. We're just basically, fixing drywall and flooring and replacing a few of the kitchens.
Thank you.
Through the chair. So there may not be a building component requirement for reinspection, but there would be for our orders. So in order for us to close them off, Mr. Carporto, sorry, I'm
Sorry.
horrible at pronouncing your name. I would just encourage you to keep in touch with Maureen Manning. And
Sure.
even as you get one unit done, if you want to call her in, then we can get that order closed off as you're completing the work on those.
Oh, okay, perfect. Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks, Ms. McNeil. That's sort of what I was getting at. I just wasn't sure if because they're reconstruction, if it's not habitable and they have to get a permit again to be able to, and then you would be able to come in and do your final sign off. So I think, yes, if they work together, sir, if you work with the officer and then she can be monitoring it, and I think that should satisfy everything from our side of it, because she
Perfect.
can always give us further reports as necessary.
Sounds good.
Okay, so I guess the next question will be for the committee. Are you comfortable making a decision now? Do you want to go in camera for discussion? Whatever you feel you would like.
Yes, in camera, please.
Brian?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Just further to Officer Manning's point there regarding some tenants looking to come back. Is it at all possible that some units would be ready earlier than end of May, that we could maybe prioritize those two units? Just as looking a bit of a compromise here.
I don't want to promise because I'm kind of dealing with all the delays, but it'd be very difficult to finish just the one unit because some of the hallways were damaged as well. So I have to finish some of the drywall in the hallways as well. And all the carpet has to be changed in the hallways. So it's like I'm trying to do floor by floor to kind of sort of move the dirt kind of down, because the third floor was by far the worst of all of it, is where it sustained the most damage from the roof being, left the way it was from the previous owners.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, I guess then if there's no other questions, then if we can go into camera for discussion, that would be great.
To the members of the public that are watching the meeting live, I would recommend that they would refresh the page when the committee has resumed.
Thank you, everybody. So the Property Standards Committee has had an opportunity to discuss all the information that's been put before us. And we're all in agreement of giving you a date of May 31st, 2020 to be compliant with your appeal number 2021-13. But in addition to that, also wherever the case may be or possible, if you're able to put a priority on units 107, 203, or 204, or any other units that would be agreeable for the renters to come back to at an earlier date. Sorry, you have to turn your mic on.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, that's great. Thank you.
Thanks. Ms. McNeil?
Through the chair, I just want to clarify that date. I believe you said 2020, and I think you meant 2022.
I even wrote 2022, so I wouldn't say 2021. Thank you for catching that. And yes, and I did add units 107, 203, and 204 to that order, as well as and/or any other unit that would be agreeable to the tenants to take.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you guys very much, and Merry Christmas to all of you.
Thank you so much. Same to you, sir.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay, so with that, I guess we'll get into appeal number 2021-15 for 99 College Street, Unit 1. Do we have representation for that?
Yes, you do. John Gibson.
Hello, John. Thank you very much. I'm not sure, were you here for the beginning of the, when I opened up the meeting? Did you hear who is present in this meeting? And
Yes, I
what
did.
we can do?
Yes, I was.
Okay, very good, sir. Thank you. So I guess before we go any further, if you want to affirm now, so we have that out of the way, and then we can start sort of hearing from Gloria and then yourself and Mr. Nieder.
Sorry, Mr. Gibson, could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the information you're about to provide the committee is true and correct?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. So I guess Ms. McNeil, will start with you.
Thank you. Through the chair, this again was a deferral based on an application that was before the landlord tenant board. My understanding is there was a hearing date and a decision that was rendered. So if maybe we could ask Mr. Gibson just to provide the committee with what that decision was and where we're at today.
Okay, there was a decision. We are appealing the decision.
Oh, 1 second. I think you have to be affirmed in first.
I thought I was.
Yes, he's been
Yes.
affirmed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. The decision, we are appealing the decision. The two outstanding deficiencies that they saw was we did not give N13s to any other tenants, but we don't need to because there was no work being done in their apartments. The other thing that they were looking for is we could not give construction schedule. I'm a developer and the general contractor on this job, and I can't hire anyone until I know a start date. The tenant has to be out for this work to be done. There's actually 2 jobs that need to be done for this. What you're concerned about is the stack, which is leaking and causing problems right now. The other issue is the new apartment in the basement, which is being put in right now with a building permit. And it needs to be renovating the bathroom because the existing bathroom is extending down into the basement. So we have to rebuild all that. This has been ongoing now for over a little under 2 years. I'd like to, if you can look at my evidence that I've shown you here, you can see that the stack issue has been addressed. Oh, I see a question. Oh, sorry, I thought I saw some hand up. The stack issue has been addressed in the upper floors. I have 2 invoices to show that. I've also indicated a document there with regards to how long a stack should last. This house is 101 years old this year. I've shown a picture here of the stack in the basement. You can see how rusty it is. Oops. I have also shown a picture of the actual leak. Now, the next picture I'm going to leave on the screen, which is a picture of the ceiling. I'm going to jump ahead here. We had a meeting on November 18th, which was strictly for money owing. The tenant has not paid rent for over a year. Two things came out of that meeting. Prior to the meeting, I offered the tenant $10,000 and I would waive any back rent to move out. He said he could, before we made that offer, that he could move out by January 1st. When we made the offer, he said he could not. And was not moving. Also, that came out of this meeting was that they had a plumber around, Hammond Plumbing, and they were looking for, out of the money that the tenant owes me, that they were looking for, I believe it was $130. It wasn't in their evidence package because he fixed the leak. Well, I've been in business for 45 years in this business, and you can't even get a plumber out for $130 to do anything. I have an estimate to fix this stack of close to $8,000. $130 is a good deal. But they told the adjudicator that the leak is now fixed. I heard about this plumber being in the building. I went over myself and took a picture. The picture that's on your evidence package of the ceiling, which you can see the stack is in the corner there, blocked off in the corner. And that's where the water's coming down. I don't know how he could say or fix the issue when he didn't even get into the ceiling. I fully intend to defend myself on this because no one can do anything now. I cannot fix this stack because he cannot be in the bathroom. He won't have a bathroom. I can't do any work in the basement, period. I can't put a new apartment in, despite the city of Kitchener wants intensification in downtown. I have done everything right with regards to this addition by issuing an M13 properly. You know, they just want to argue everything that is going on with this building. I've also, in the package that I gave you a bill, PSG plumbing bill for $6,400, sorry, for putting 3 rads in on the first floor tenants. I have a bill for $16,000 to redo the entire heating system in the building, and I just paid $6,000 to do probably a third of the job, which is almost double what I should be paying. You can't sit and do work where you get a little piece by piece by piece done. I'm the only one who's ended up paying the extra money. I also have one other thing too that I want to say here, and the tenant is been claiming that he is disabled. And in this meeting, they treated the tenant like he was a 5-year-old. Questions.
Mr. Gibson.
I understand. I'm going to speak generalities, okay? Generalities. If he was, or if anyone is disabled, they should be on ODSP because you can get money.
Okay, Mr. Gibson, I'm gonna have to stop you at that point. I've been giving you a lot of latitude on areas to speak which, but and I hear that your frustration, and I appreciate it, but we have to stay away from the only evidence you can give me is the evidence you know, and that is through the pictures, through the bills, through the attempts you've made with the through tenant acts. That's what I need you to stick to, okay? I get it, and this committee gets it, and we appreciate that there's a frustration level but we need to stay focused on what we're dealing with here. And for us to make appropriate decisions, if I can ask that you stay on target for that, and we'll have a few questions for you. And as you know, we've worked with you before, so let's see what questions we get answered and where we can kind of go forward. Now, one of the first things I would like to get kind of clarified, I'm trying to remember, on the first time we talked, was there 2 tenants you needed to get out, the upstairs and the downstairs, or was it always just the bottom one?
Just the one.
Yeah, the middle one. Okay. But you
No,
did have a stack issue on the upper level and you weren't 100% sure where the leak was.
No, I know
initially.
exactly where the leak was.
Okay.
The leak is on the top of the first floor,
Okay.
where the toilet, like a stack is like it's like a
Yep.
a
We
tree.
know what the stack is. And
Okay, some people might not. Some
no,
people might
no,
not.
we know exactly what it is.
Okay,
So, but all the issues is you want to replace the entire stack. Am I
no, I
correct?
do not.
Well, just
The two
from the
invoices-
basement up.
No, the 2 invoices that I've shown you here in my evidence packets show that the stack has been replaced in the upper floors.
Okay. Okay. So you just have to replace the spot in that main floor now.
That's correct.
Okay. And he's trying to say that he fixed that stack, which we know is not correct. Is that, am I
That's what,
saying that correct?
that is what evidence was given in the money hearing. It has nothing to do with anything other than money. They were
Okay.
asking for $130, I believe it was.
Okay. You've indicated that you are appealing the decision. Are you able to give us some time frame of when your appeal is going to be heard?
In the evidence package, I have it there, February 2nd. Now,
Okay, I see that. Thank you.
they do not give a decision right away. They delay it for up to a month.
Okay. All right, so that's questions from me at this point. I know that there may be questions from the rest of the committee members. So if somebody wants to ask, please ask now.
That's
Okay.
fine.
Go ahead, sir.
No, that's fine.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mohammed. Brian and Charlene, you're both good?
Yeah, just to follow up for clarity, and maybe ahead of time, I see Gloria's hand up if Gloria wants to say something through you, the chair. Sorry.
Through the chair, I was just going to ask if we could have Mr. or Officer Nieder sworn in, and just again, similar to Ms. Manning, just have him provide us with an update on the facts that he has to date that have come in since the last time we met, and any recommendations that he would suggest to the committee on timelines.
Yes, that's great. Thanks, Mike. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead, please. Oh, you have to affirm first.
Officer Nieder, could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the information you're about to provide the committee is true and correct?
I do.
Thank you.
So Mike, if you could just walk the committee through, have you done an inspection, seen any photographs, or had any conversations since our last meeting in relation to the remaining outstanding items on the order?
Sure. So I have not done an in-person inspection. I have had communication with the tenant. The information I have is that they feel that the leak has been addressed and is no longer an issue. Specifically, the order itself deals with the water leak as well as damage in the kitchen. So there seems to be some issues or confusion as far as where the damage is, or the photographs that were provided by the owner today. So we may wish to clarify whether those photographs are of the kitchen or the bathroom. And again, I would just direct attention to the order that's before the committee, which is specifying only 2 things at this point, which is the water leak and the ceiling surfaces in the kitchen specifically.
Yes, that's a good point, Mike. Thank you. Mr. Gibson, are you able to comment on that?
Yes, the picture that I showed you previously is of the bathroom. The kitchen is right up against the bathroom, and this leak has gone into there. So this is not a continuous leak. This crack is on the top of the stack. As you could well imagine, this, as I said, this is a 101-year-old house. It's a stack for the second floor toilet, over 101 years old. I'm sure you've had a whole bunch of people slam themselves down on the toilet and cause stress on the stack itself. And as it gets older, it's going to crack, and that's what's happened. You can see by the two plumbing, we have now on the third floor, we have a power flush toilet, which gives high density and high volume water goes down, a lot more than what your just regular toilet would give. And when that goes down and the toilet is flushed on the second floor is when you get leaking out of there. And I have seen it myself and took the picture of the stack that I showed you earlier, where the actual leak was.
Okay, thank you, sir. And of course, I know you pointed out before that you were reluctant to go ahead and do the drywalling if the leaking's still there and it's just going to damage it again. Is that
exactly right?
Remembering that correctly in your original evidence?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, so thanks, Mr. Gibson. I think this matter was deferred earlier because of clarity with that meeting with the landlord-tenant board regarding the tenant's status of still living there, right? So that meeting happened and the tenant's still there, which makes the work more difficult to complete. But in the evidence package you submitted there, you think you can get this done to comply with the order by early February, if I follow correctly?
No, I can't. I'm not allowed to fix this stack. He's not going to have a washroom. So he's not going to move out. So what do I do?
So if I understand correctly, your appointment is February 2nd. There is a month before a decision will be made, and then it'll take you about how long to repair the stack?
I can get a plumber in right away.
Okay,
As soon
so
as
let's,
we can get access.
yep,
He's told me it would take, because I'm also going to do the work that needs to be done in that washroom. The
Of course.
N13 that I gave him explained that the washroom needed to be gutted. And that's most of the work is not only for the stack, but it's also for the plumbing that needs to be raised up so we can put the apartment in the basement.
okay, so would we think that it would be reasonable to expect that you should be able to get this done by the end of March? No, end of April, excuse me?
I would think so, yes, if he moves out. Like when you offer him $10,000 and he doesn't have to pay any of his back rent, you can get a real nice apartment for that. So there's no reason for him not to move out.
Thank you for that information with respect to timelines. Mr. Gibson, that'll be definitely helpful. Brian, did you still have another question yet?
No, Mr. Chair, that answered it.
I'd just like to clarify one thing, that the $10,000 I offered him also ensured that he moved out forever.
That's between you and him, sir, not
Yeah,
for the
I know, I'm just making it clear.
Yep, no, I appreciate that.
Because
Thank you.
that's the situation I'm in right now with him.
I get it. There's a level of frustration, sir. Okay, so with that said, I think the committee will probably go into camera to discuss. Agreed? Oh, sorry, Ms. McNeil. Yep.
That's okay. Through the chair, I just want to be cautious because Mr. Gibson has stated that dead timeline that Ms. Molman has suggested is if he can get the tenant out. So I just want to reiterate that any timeline this committee gives is final. We would not have the ability to go beyond that. So I just wanted to clarify that because I don't want to be in a position where if this doesn't work out to Mr. Gibson's liking, that we're going to be in the same position come next April. Just
I
want to be
agree.
cautious.
I agree with you on that one, Gloria. I'm mindful of that, and we'll definitely put that into our discussions. Okay, everyone, thank you. The committee has had time to discuss Appeal 2021-15 for 99 College Street. So, Mr. Gibson, we've considered all the information that's been brought before us today. And what we've decided, we don't want to put you into a position where we're giving you an unrealistic or unattainable goal. So we've all agreed unanimously to give you another adjournment to the March meeting, which is March 30th, 2022. And at that time, we can see how your appeal process went and see if you have a game plan in place then based on that information.
Okay, thanks very much.
So we'll see you back here March 30th then, okay?
I'm becoming a regular.
It's okay. We appreciate you.
No, it's not.
Well, and to be fair, like I said, we appreciate this is a difficult situation for you, and that's why we're handling it the way we are. So, you know, we are very mindful of that, but we want the best interests of the community, yourself, and the city, and that's what we have to consider it when we're making our decisions.
Okay, thanks very much, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome, sir. And I guess that's all our hearings for this date.
Through the chair, if you wouldn't mind just